These are my top 3 indie games of 2025 so far. I'm also posting this a week before Silksong drops, so this may change. First up, I want to talk about Wanderstop. On the surface, this looks like a cozy kind of farming team management simulator, but the gameplay is actually a lot closer to something like Journey or Abzu or Sable, where it's more of a flow state game, because you don't have any objectives to complete in this game. You're just dropped into this tea shop. There's a story going on about trauma and burnout, and the game is taking a really critical look at that and saying, what if the solution to burnout isn't to just not work, but maybe to do work that has more direct results and benefits to the people in your life. But Wanderstop undermines the traditional management game logic where you're constantly being given things to do, and there's like this dopamine rush that you're pursuing by checking all these boxes. If you've played Stardew Valley, you'll definitely know how this feels. So Wanderstop ends up just being this really subversive and really peaceful experience to play through. Soundtrack's also by C418, who did the soundtrack for Minecraft. So my second favorite indie of the year is Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. This game makes Citizen Sleeper 1 look like a proof of concept, and it's just everything I want out of a good sequel. It's not just more of what made the first game fun, but it's a core evolution of its design goals and the world building around those design goals. I would describe the first game as a survival game with tabletop RPG elements, versus the second game is a full-on tabletop RPG in a video game. The writing in this game is incredible. There's so many good characters in it. The world building is super interesting and unique. It's much more diverse and expansive than the first game, and that lets it dive into these larger socio-political conflicts that the first game's scope just didn't let it do. If you have played the first Citizen Sleeper, this is a must-play. And if you haven't played the first Citizen Sleeper, this is also a must-play. And my favorite indie game of 2025 so far is, of course, Blueprints. This game is my new Outer Wilds. For me personally, my favorite games are those that synergize the themes of the game, what the message of the game is and what the creators want you to take away from it, with the gameplay of like what you're actually doing in the game and how those two come together. And Blueprints just does this so well on a micro and a macro level. The micro narrative of this game is that you inherit this manor that changes rooms every day, and you're tasked with essentially becoming the master of this manor. So by the end of the game, you have become a master of this house. You know how it functions, you know the logic behind it in a way that no one else does. But then on a macro level, there's a larger scale narrative in this game about the legacies that we inherit from our ancestors and what doors we're willing to open or close in our own lives to carry on their legacies or to forgo them and forge a new path. Like Outer Wilds, this game is not for everybody, but it's definitely for me. But let me know in the comments what your favorite indies of 2025 are.